Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. In today's video we are going to be taking a look at the Gemini Jets 1-400 scale releases for September of 2023. This is a video type I have not done in a very long time. It's been like almost 2 years since I've done one of these release reactions. This one's a little bit different because I'm just straight up screen recording on my laptop the Gemini Jets page and this will be an actual reaction, not just a cover of them, because I have yet to actually see the new releases, but I mean, Todd was on Instagram teasing these. They're pretty cool. But anyway, before we get started, I want to talk about that I do plan on doing these videos kind of more often now. I would like to get back into doing these release reactions every month because I think they're kind of fun, kind of giving you guys an idea of like what models I'm going to buy, and then checking out the new releases, giving my reaction and my opinion on them. So yeah, it is already 3:06, so the releases should be out now. So let's go ahead and take a look at them. Alright, let's see if they're out. Alright, so first up, we got the Air Wisconsin 1-400 scale, CRJ 200, the El Guapo livery. This is one that I've definitely been waiting for a long time, because it's just such a cool livery, and this is also, I believe, the first new kind of like American Eagle registered Air Wisconsin aircraft. It's actually operating for American Eagle, which is something that is quite cool, as that is a kind of a newer aircraft in general, kind of in service. Obviously, they had the old release, but that was from before they retired it and then brought it back. So this is quite cool. It's also quite a cool livery. I will probably be picking this one up at some point because these do fly to Lexington quite regularly, as well as just being kind of a useful aircraft. Alright, next up we got a Bonza, I think that's how you pronounce it, 737 MAX 8. I want to say this one was in the future releases. I'm not 100% sure on that, but it's nice to see Gemini Jets releasing these kind of more interesting aircraft, not as well-known airlines. I'm Bonza, yeah, I'm assuming this is Australian, because here for Australia. I've heard of them somewhere. I think this must have been on the future releases. But yeah, quite a cool little release there for Gemini Jets. Next up, okay, we got a British Airways A321neo. This is a very cool one because Gemini Jets are typically not very good with releasing these European short-haul aircraft. We did get one of these, it must have been 2019, I think we got one of these. But this is actually quite a cool one. I've been building up my British and kind of European short-haul fleet recently, so I will probably pick this one up, actually. This is a really cool one. And Gemini Jets A321neo mold, it's not amazing, but it's also not terrible. I mean, aside from the engines being a bit too big, it's an okay mold. So, I mean, I'll probably pick this one up. Alright, next up, of course, we got the Emirates. This is the new livery, though, so this is one I've definitely been waiting for a little bit, because Emirates obviously changed their livery for the first time in like 20 years recently. And it looks like we got the A380 as well as the 777-300ER. I will probably pick up the 333 on this because I already have an Emirates A380, and I don't really need an Emirates A380. I basically only bought the one I have because I wanted an A380 for my collection, and I thought that would be a cool one to get. I honestly think the 777-300ER is more useful of an aircraft, so I probably will pick this one up at some point. Just to have it for my collection and suggested updates, because I feel like it's a fairly useful aircraft, and also to have the new livery at my disposal. So yeah, definitely cool to get that. Looks like we also have the flaps/slats extended version of it. I don't actually have any of those. I'm not sure if I'll ever get any of those, but definitely a cool thing. Next up we have the Qatar Airways 737 MAX 8. Definitely, and this is kind of interesting. Gemini don't actually release a huge amount of Qatar Airways aircraft. I only found that out recently. I forgot how few they actually released. But this is definitely a cool one. NG have already released it, though, which definitely brings up kind of interesting dilemma there, because Gemini actually, the MAX 8, even MAX 9 in general, is one of their best molds. So I feel like kind of down with this one is going to be the coloring. So I mean, if the Gemini jets typically tend to get the coloring kind of messed up on pretty much any aircraft that doesn't just have a white fuselage. So I mean, this will probably be hit or miss. If the coloring is right on this one, then this actually might be worth getting over the NG version, just because it's going to be cheaper and the mold is actually fairly good on this one. But Gemini jets may screw up the coloring. You never know. So I mean, definitely a cool one though to get. It's nice that Gemini just released this. I won't be getting this one because I don't really have a need for it, but definitely a cool one to get. Alright, next up we have the Southwest 737-800 in the Tennessee 1 livery. This is a cool one. This is actually one of my favorite state liveries, honestly. I think it's not even the most exciting flag out there, but I think it just looks really good with Southwest tail and just with Southwest coloring as a livery in general. I think it looks really cool. So if I do end up getting this one, I probably won't get the Gemini Jets version because this mold is really bad. I think their Gemini Jets 738 and 739 molds are probably their worst molds they have active right now. They're just really terrible, terribly inaccurate. They just don't look good. Not even like some other aircraft where you can look past some of the flaws in it and still see a nice model. They just don't look good. I only have 2 of this mold in my collection, and they're just not good. So yeah, I'll probably get the NG version if I do end up getting one of these. But it is still nice Gemini Jets releasing that. Ooh, okay, this is a cool one. So we've got the Air Force One this is just regular old Air Force One. That is currently in service, the VC-25A. So that is really interesting because it has been a long time since Gemini released one of these, and this is obviously a pretty useful aircraft. So I might get this one. The only reason I'm kind of like not sure about it is because I think the new Air Force One is just a few years away. It's only like 2 years away from entering service. So it's like I'm not sure how much use I'd actually be able to get out of this one. But it is still a cool aircraft either way. So I might pick this one up. I'm not really sure yet. But that is a very cool one for Gemini to release. So that's definitely nice. All right, just one 1/400th Gemini Max release. And that is a North Carolina Air National Guard C-17. This is another. I have a C-17 for the U.S. Air Force, but this one is based at Charlotte, and that is one of my favorite airports in the world. That is also an airport that one of my kind of long-term dreams is to actually be able to do updates of CLT. And this would be a very useful aircraft. So I might pick this one up as just have a second C-17 for the U.S. Air Force in my collection. Because I think the one right now, it's Dover based. So this would definitely be a useful one. So I might pick that one up. Not sure yet. Alright, next up let's go through the 200 scale. I'll probably go through these a little faster since I'm not a 1/200th collector. But we got the American A321neo. Another 1/400th, just coming to 1/200th. The Piedmont Retro Q400. Got this one in 1/400th last month. So quite a cool one. I believe this is kind of like the revival of the. Did I say Q400? I think I did. This is a Q100 or kind of a Dash 8 100. But it's quite cool to see the revival of this mold because I cannot even remember. I think this is the first time in like over a decade we've gotten this mold released. So that's always nice. We got the British Airways 777-200ER. Definitely a cool one, but I mean, this is 1/200th. This is the 1/400th one came out a few months ago. I think the NG mold's a little bit better on the 222, but the Gemini one mold is certainly not bad. That's one of their better molds. So we also got the flaps/slats extended version. So that's definitely a cool one. I think that's definitely a little better looking on 1/200th because you get the extra detail there. We got the Delta Boeing 717-200 that doesn't appear to have any engines. That's kind of odd. But another one that we got in 1/400th pretty recently, coming to 1/200th. That's actually kind of a cool one. I mean, if I ever start a 1/200th collection, that's one I might want to pick up. But yeah, that's a cool one. Next up, we got the Emirates A380 in the new livery. We also got that in 1/400th this month. No 333, it looks like, so that's kind of interesting that we got the A380 but not the 777-300. So Next up, looks like we got a couple of BBJs. So we got, this is the Royal Australian Air Force, BBJ 737-700. It's kind of a cool one. We got two more though. We got the Royal Australian Air Force again. Is this one different? I can't really tell. It honestly looks the same to me. I can't tell if they're different. But I don't know. Maybe one of these is going to be the slats extended, and they just didn't put that on there. Well, no, yeah, they're different registrations. A36001, A36002. Okay, next up we have the 100 years, apparently, which, yeah, has that 100 on the tail. That's kind of cool. That's definitely not a very common thing for Gemini jets to do, to release like 3 of very similar aircraft from the same kind of airline operator in the same release. That's something they don't do very often. That's more of an NG thing. I'm totally for that though. That's cool. Next up, you got a Southwest Boeing 727-200. If you don't know, Southwest operated these for a couple of years. In the late 1970s, early 1980s. It's the only time they've operated any other aircraft than a 737, so that's a cool aircraft. That's cool titles too. I didn't know they ever had ones that looked like with those titles. Yeah, that's a pretty unique aircraft to get. Maybe we'll get that in 1-400 soon. Next up, we got a TAM Fokker F100. It's kind of a interesting pronunciation there of that particular aircraft company. But we got this in 1/400th recently. And then finally here we got a US Air McDonnell Douglas MD-82. Yeah, MD-82. So that's another one we got in 1/400 pretty recently that we are now getting in 1/200. It's pretty cool. Next up, we got the this is the last release, we got the Gemini GA 172 scale release. They've been doing a lot of these pretty recently. I might want to get one of these. These actually look kind of cool. But we got a Piper J3 Cub, just kind of in the standard yellow livery. I feel like they already released one like this, but I'm sure this one's probably different in some way. But it might be kind of cool. I do definitely kind of want to get one of these. These are kind of cool looking. But yeah, so that is it for the September. That's too high. That is it for the September 2023 release. This is kind of more of an experimental video for me. I don't know, I'm not sure how the audio quality is because I've never really tried to record on my laptop before, so I don't know, the audio quality might be bad, but so let me know how that sounds. I'll check how that sounds, and if it's bad, I'll see if I can fix it for next month's release. I might do this for NG as well, probably stick with Gemini jets just for the time being because they definitely have the more kind of just interesting and also controversial releases. At some points, NG released so many models, just random models, that it's not as interesting and exciting. But yeah, so that concludes today's video. If you enjoyed, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and if you have time, leave a comment down below telling me your thoughts. So yeah, with that, let me know what you think of these releases, and I hope you guys have an awesome rest of your day, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!